Hello, welcome to our show, Crooked Doctors.
Crooked Doctors.
Today is Friday, September 14th, 2012.
Okay.
And what we're going to do today is we're going to spend about 40 minutes to confirm something very serious.
Very serious.
I have videotape. We're going to look at a 20-minute videotape of my attorney, Anthony Lombardino, lying to me. And I'm going to set this up a little so we can understand what we're looking at. But the important...
she'll have to run it through for you because this guy is a little confusing. I saw the tape. Go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna explain it a little
Narrative,
bit,
yes.
and then I'm gonna put it up on YouTube where everyone can understand it. And you know, on YouTube, I have U.S. Marshal Wartofsky in a short video where I'm talking him through one of the litigation points against Judge Robert P. Patterson, Jr. Robert P. Patterson, Jr. is a district court judge in the Southern District of New York. And there's a video already on my Crooked Doctors channel where I say... I'm running a litigation point past Marshal Wartofsky. This is Emanuel Mishka Wartofsky. And I'm talking to him and I say, Mr. Wartofsky. Now, Mr. Wartofsky also is Department of Justice. So they were playing administrative hot potato, and eventually they referred my case to Marshal Wartofsky, who's with the Department of Justice. And he knows irrefutably that Judge Patterson fabricated, wholesale made up a ruling in my case that said that my amended complaint could point to no school policy that would allow me as a former student to correct my ACOM records.
That's right. Okay,
that's just a lie because, first of all, I did point to a school policy.
You did.
Page 22 of my college bulletin. I had Colonel Kevin C. Riley at Fort Knox authenticate my college bulletin. I asked for my records before I became a former student. And I don't need school policy because I have federal law, and that federal law is Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act of 1974, also known as the Buckley Amendment. And yes, there are marshals that I talk this through, and sometimes what I'll say instead of Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, I'll say federal. That's because in Washington, D.C., there's an organization called the Family. And if you say family down in Washington, it means something else. So we'll get to that later. Well, the Family is an evangelistic Christian group that we'll get to later. But the bottom line is Emanuel Mishka Wartofsky was the U.S. Marshal at 500 Pearl Street, and I already have posted on the internet Mr. Wartofsky. I've been downloading my brain with the litigation points for a year, and you are aware that 4 federal judges refused to uphold the law. They wholesale fabricated this ruling. You're not stupid, you're a bright man, and you know that it's ridiculous that a former student can't access and correct her records.
That's correct, yes.
I mean, that's just ridiculous. It defies basic common sense. Sorry for a second. Let me just pin my mic back on. Okay. So, in this video with my attorney, I also, towards the end, discuss with him, tell him, we start to discuss, as I'm talking to him, I say, Judge Patterson, he's like, he gets angry, he's like, are you here to discuss Judge Patterson? I'm like, excuse me, sir, my attorney's name is Anthony Lombardino. He's a former federal prosecutor. He operates out of Queens, and he's perfectly aware that Judge Patterson fabricated rulings in my case, and that 4 appeals judges on the Second Circuit Court of Appeals upheld those fabricated rulings. But he's afraid, and what he says is, oh, these judges are fine gentlemen. No, they're not.
Yeah.
They're thieves.
Yes.
They're helping my medical school steal money and inflict all kinds of harm on me.
That's right.
And there's a short video on my Crooked Doctors channel on YouTube where I have Marshall Witowski on videotape, and they were trying to build a criminal case against me, saying, well, you know that filming the marshals is illegal. No, I didn't. And even if it was, it doesn't matter, because I didn't do it out of malice, which is an essential element of a crime. And if the government were to come after me, I have the defense of entrapment available to me. I got to get through this videotape, because this 20-minute videotape virtually saves my life. But it does something else for the men and women in Manhattan at the 34th Police Precinct. And what it shows is that as I go to talk to Mr. Lombardino, I'm going to set up this videotape. It will take me about 3 or 4 minutes. I asked for my folder. Do you remember?
Sure, I saw that part, yes.
Okay, I'm asking for my folder, and I say, by the way, while you've got that folder out, can you take that fax out?
Yeah.
And they take out a fax. Do you remember that part?
I remember the fax. Yeah.
Okay, and that
police report, wasn't it?
Right. Thank you. That fax is a fax that I have 2 attorneys. One attorney in New York is named Gerald DiChiera.
Okay.
And the other attorney is Anthony or Tony Lombardino in Queens.
Right.
Now, when I'm in Rikers Island, my first attorney, Mr. DiChiera, comes to visit me, and I hand him the police report from 2005.
Okay.
And I explain to him that my complaints against Yeshiva University for falsifying financial information for fraud came first. They were for fraud, and no one wanted to do anything, because for fraud in federal student loan programs, the consequences to Yeshiva University are very high.
Yes, they are steep.
Detective Cologne lied on the witness stand when he stated otherwise. And next week, we will look at Detective Cologne's statement. But when you see this videotape, you're going to see me asking for the fax.
Okay.
And I asked him to bring that fax out, and Mr. Lombardino authenticates that fax, because you see the part, do you recall the part where I say, look, this is a fax from Mr. DiChiera to you.
Sure.
You remember that part?
I remember that part.
And this is dated January 2011.
Yeah.
And this is the police report from 2005
that
shows that Detective Cologne lied on the witness stand.
Very good.
So for going on 2 years now, my 2 attorneys know with absolute certainty, there's no doubt in their mind, that a police detective from the 34th Police Precinct in Washington Heights lied on the witness stand to illegally incarcerate me. Now, they have a duty to do something about that.
Sure they do.
So for the past 2 years, my attorneys have been helping police corruption here in Manhattan.
Yep, that's what they did.
So we're going to show this this videotape of Mr. Lombardino, and I'm just going to talk you through some of the salient points.
Yeah, you'll have to talk to him a little bit, because this guy, I said, is a little confusing. People don't know where he's coming from. But you as the narrator will run it down. Sure.
Okay.
Very good.
The first thing that impressed me was you're going to see his increasing hostility.
Sure. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. He's getting all flustered, heart attack, everything you can think of.
And this is a bullying technique where he figures if he's hostile, then I'll go away.
Right. Exactly.
Then you're going to notice through this 20-minute video that Mr. Lombardino's story changes.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Why do you see this part, folks?
And he starts out by saying that he hasn't gotten paid in my case. And I'm going to tell you what the deceptive business practice is.
Sure.
My first attorney was paid $40,000 to do my appeal.
Okay.
And then he paid Mr. Lombardino $10,000.
10 large.
Now, I'm the client. Guess who doesn't know the fee arrangement? The client.
Okay.
So when I asked Mr. Lombardino for a meeting, and I asked for 2 meetings so far, what Mr. Lombardino does is he demands that I bring to his office large sums of cash.
Okay.
Okay, that's the deceptive business practice. He got paid through the back door.
Right.
And he deceives me by having me come to his office to bring cash so he can get paid again through the front door.
Okay, I got it.
You understand?
Yeah.
So the first time he pulled this was in September of 2011, where I actually brought cash to the office to have a meeting with Mr. Lombardino.
Sure.
Because I was unaware that he was paid 10 grand in my case.
Right.
Now, when did I discover this fee arrangement?
When did you discover it?
Just a few weeks ago. So I've been trying to work with these attorneys for the past 2 years now, and they've been lying to get money from me any way they can.
Sure.
Now, it's been asked by callers who called into my show, and I get emails, and people stop me on the street, and they say things like, how come your case can't get off the ground?
Right.
Well, my case can't get off the ground because my attorneys have been stabbing me in the back for the past 2 years.
Not good.
And in this video, what you'll see is I come to talk to Mr. Lombardino about the fee arrangement.
Okay.
He accuses me of trying to meet with him without having an appointment. That's not true.
Yeah, I saw that part, yeah.
That's not true. His assistant, Ron, let me know that Mr. Lombardino would be in the office.
Right.
And they're trying to get money from me. And I come to the office to say, I know you're going to be here, and I'm not going to give you large sums of cash until we discuss the fee arrangement.
Okay, good.
Now, I've looked at my file, and my first attorney, Mr. DiChiera, sends an acknowledgement letter to Mr. Lombardino telling him that he's paid the first installment of the 10 grand.
Okay.
And I'm like, whoa, nobody told me. So I come to I come to Mr. Lombardino's office to discuss the fee arrangement because me, the client, has been left in the dark.
Sure.
He tries to say that my file is, we're discussing this, and his story will change from, and I'm quoting him here, I haven't gotten any money for this.
Sure.
I've gotten nothing. We get my second attorney, Mr. DiChiera, on the phone, and he confirms, yes, I paid this man 10 grand. And I have another videotape, which I'll show next week, where we can all look at Mr. DiChiera.
Right.
And before I went to see Mr. Lombardino, I went to see Mr. DiChiera, and I asked him point blank, how much money did you pay Mr. Lombardino? And you'll see the videotape where he says, oh, I paid him 10 grand. So after Mr. Mr. DiChiera confirms on videotape that he paid Mr. Lombardino, I go down to see Mr. Lombardino, and Mr. Lombardino says that he hasn't gotten any money for this.
He never received any cash, right, sure.
And you're going to see that on this video. He says, I never got any money for this.
Yes,
I got nothing. We call my second attorney, and on the phone he confirms that, yes, I paid him 10 grand. And then you see them start to make up the cover story.
Okay.
And now they start making up excuses. And they're like, oh, it's the referral fee. Do you remember this part?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, a referral fee is about $500, not $10,000.
That's right.
So now Mr. Lombardino's story starts to change.
Yep.
He acknowledges that he's got the money, and he says, okay, well, it's a referral fee. I worked on your case. And as this 20-minute video progresses, he even goes, oh, well, so what if they paid me and I got the money? What do you think, your 10 grand lasts all the time?
Well, I remember that one, yeah.
And he starts to build a criminal case against me. And his criminal case is to comport with the lies that were told in the Marlene Abramova case. And he starts to say, oh, you're harassing me with these phone calls. Look at all these phone calls. And he actually holds a stack of papers, and he says, these are all the phone calls you made from Rikers Island.
Rikers, okay. Well, what about that? Are they?
Well, yeah, but you know what's really good about that?
What?
Is that, and you saw this on the tape.
I did. I didn't follow it too clearly.
Well, that's why we're explaining it now before we look at the tape. In this tape, I say to Mr. Lombardino, yeah, I called you from Rikers Island. And Mr. Lombardino, aren't all phone calls from Rikers Island monitored and tape recorded?
Yes.
And he says without hesitation, yes, that they are, which is good. Because that means that during my incarceration for 11 months, I was on that phone as much as I could possibly be. Because I was calling witnesses who were confirming that I was telling the truth.
Okay.
So the district attorney has all those tape-recorded conversations and monitored conversations where I got witnesses on the phone that confirmed I was telling the truth.
Right.
Okay? So after I come out of Rikers, I asked my attorney, Mr. DiChiera, listen, all those phone calls from Rikers Island, they were monitored and tape-recorded.
Yes, they were.
What are we doing to preserve that evidence? He looked me straight in the eye, and he lied. And
how did he lie? What did he say again?
He said that the phone calls from Rikers Island are not tape recorded.
Are not? Oh, that's not true.
No. And as an inmate, you'll know, and I'm sure that there are some people out there in the viewing audience, you'll know that if you're incarcerated in Rikers Island or if you're detained in Rikers Island, there are these big signs that say, if you use the phone, please be aware that you are agreeing to have your phone calls monitored and tape recorded.
Monitored when you're in a slammer, sure.
And I actually had to go through the step of going to the Department of Corrections website and printing out their policy where it's clearly stated, and handing it to Mr. DiChiera, where it's clearly stated that all phone calls from Rikers Island are monitored and tape recorded.
That's right.
So as we go through this 20-minute tape, and my file is brought, and I say, can you give me that fax?
Right.
Okay, as he's going through I say, bring me my file, because I'm confirming that there was this acknowledgement letter.
Right.
I make reference to this acknowledgement letter where Mr. DiChiera acknowledges, he sends a letter that says, we've paid you $6,000 towards your $10,000 fee.
Okay.
So I'm like, give me the folder, Mr. Lombardino, and in that folder is the acknowledgement letter.
Yeah.
And as the folder is going through in front of me, I say, take out that fax. And when they take out that fax, I say, and you'll see me do this, Mr. Lombardino, right here, this is a fax. You see this? This is a fax from Mr. DiChiera to you on January of 2011. And that fax is the police report from 2005 that shows that my complaints came first.
Yes.
Yeshiva University didn't file their complaints against me till 2009,
Right.
4 years later. So when Detective Cologne got up on the witness stand and said, well, I didn't take Lydia Radin's complaint seriously because the school complained and then she complained, he lied.
Yes, he did.
The police report from 2005 shows it. We went to Albany to talk to the Guarantee Agency in 2006 with witnesses, and I have affidavits. In 2007, I was complaining to Margaret Spellings, who was then the U.S. Secretary of Education, at the open public hearings in Washington with Congressman Miller that my congressman had sent me to. And in 2008, me and Mike Tyberg went down to the Manhattan District Attorney's office. So, you know what? We're about 20 minutes into the show, and this videotape is about 20 minutes. So let's go to the videotape. And do you understand what we're doing right now?
I followed the narrative, right. I'm pretty sure
and there's one thing that I have to say. Why is this so important?
Why?
Well, not only that, I got 2 court officers who are participating in police corruption and are participating in corruption in the Manhattan District Attorney's office with Assistant District Attorney Alex Spiro. But the reason why my case hasn't gotten anywhere is because this fax was sent to Mr. Lombardino in January of 2011. As I'm preparing to be released from Rikers in March of 2011, in my file, I discovered Mr. Lombardino's handwritten notes where he says, Detective Cologne did not lie on the witness stand. So every time anyone calls my attorneys to check, they say, oh, she's lying, she's crazy, don't listen to her. So my attorneys have been backstabbing me for the last 2 years.
2 years, wow.
Let's look at that.
Okay.
Okay, so why don't you tell me some of your impressions as we were looking at this while I bring up the the tape. I mean, what did you think when we were previewing this before the What did you think?
First of all, I thought you explained it very well, because when you see this guy, he doesn't sound, he's contradictory, and he doesn't sound quite on the level or know what he's talking about. And certainly, Lydia does know what she's talking about. It was like interpretation. He was speaking foreign language. But here we go.
Well, this is my attorney, Mr. Anthony Lombardino out of Queens.
I don't want to enter an attorney.
No, you don't, and you do not want him for an attorney.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, I'm bringing this up because I'm bringing up the video. And we're going to, oh, and at the end, you know, he was trying to misconstrue, and he was going to try to build a criminal case against me, saying he felt harassed. I'm like, you got paid, and then at the end, he says, call me. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the videotape.
You want to show the people now?
Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
Okay.
I'm just trying to find out if they have to do the same thing over again.
Hi. Hi, Mr. Lombardino.
You know what I'm telling me?
No, you told me you'd be in today.
I said you had to bring the hundred.
That's what I wanted to ask you about. When you told me that you didn't receive any money,
That's correct.
Mr. DiChiera says you collected your fee of $10,000.
That's not true. Mr. DiChiera got the money.
And he said he paid you $10,000.
He did not. He did not. What would he pay me for? I didn't do the appeal. You know,
I don't know what to think. He told me.
I'm telling you what to think. He gave me. Hey, Ron, get Jerry on the phone. All right. Got a hell of a nerve.
Well, he told me he paid you your fee of $10,000.
Well, that's not true.
Well, if that's not true,
I didn't do the appeal. He did.
Well, I'm not trying to accuse you, sir. I'm trying to get a straight answer. If Mr. DiChiera tells me that he paid you $10,000,
Yeah, what?
and
if I tell you he didn't, what?
Well, I don't know what to believe now. That's why I came in to talk to you about it.
Well, then you go back and talk to him about it. I'm going to talk to him about it now.
Okay.
He's got a hell of a nerve saying things like that.
All right, well,
He got the money. Your mother sent him $40,000.
I understand.
Well, you gave it to him. I don't know.
I understand, but if he tells me you collected a fee and that's not true, then thank you very much for your patience and understanding. And let's get that.
I told you once before, Lydia, I haven't gotten any money on this from you. Nothing. And I've been talking, a lot of lawyers charge for telephone calls. I don't.
Sir, I understand.
For weeks and weeks.
I understand, and I called you from Rikers, and if it's true that Mr. DiChiera did not pay you $10,000, then we need to get to the bottom of this, then I would apologize to you, and let's see what we have to do to correct this. So thank you for your patience and understanding. Nobody gave me correct information.
Hello? Hey, Jerry, I'm here with Ms. Raden, and she's telling me that you had told her that you had paid me a fee and I got paid. What the hell is she talking about? Oh, she told you that?
No, he told me. I asked him, how much did you pay?
Well, I told her that's not true. She wanted to see me pay and talk to me about something which I don't know. And I told her I wanted to be paid for the consultation and discussion. And she's telling me that you had told her that I'm paid. No, she did not.
Can I talk to her when you're done?
She never got it from me. I told her I got nothing. I have no idea, Jerry. She said you told her.
Can I, Mr. DiChiera? Hello? Hello? Mr. DiChiera? Is this Joe DiChiera? I can barely hear you. Pardon me?
Please stop. Don't shout.
I can barely hear him. I can barely hear you, sir.
I'll tell you what he told me.
Hello? Yes, this is Mr. DiChiera. I can barely understand you. Are you on your cell phone? Can I call you on your hard line?
Please let me on my...
I had asked you how much you paid Mr. Lombardino, and you told me you paid him his fee of $10,000. No, sir, I did not. I asked you how much did you pay him, and you said his fee. And
I didn't do the
Did you pay Mr. Lombardino any money at all? How much did you pay him? He just told me on the phone that he paid you $10,000.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of this now, Jerry. I don't know what you're talking. I know that whatever referral fee got nothing to do with her. She didn't pay it to me. It was a referral fee. I know I've been working on it.
Excuse me, could I get my file, because there's an acknowledgement letter in the file.
Okay, I'll take care of it. He sent me money for working on your case, which is called a referral fee.
How much?
Which I got. He said it was $10,000. I don't remember. Okay, so let's do what he said. I worked on a case with him. What does that got to do with now these extras, these telephone calls?
There's not extras. Nobody told me anything. Can I see my file, because there's a
Hey, run! And then you have to run. Clear. This is one hell of a mess. Believe me. Bring it up, file.
Thank you.
I don't know what you want.
Well, there's an acknowledgement letter in my file
Acknowledgement from who?
that you received this
I got received this
from.
Sure.
Yes.
And if I did, what's that got to do with our meetings like this?
Well, Mr. Lombardino, I'm looking at my file, and you made a note in March, early March, I believe.
What does that have to do with these getting together?
What can, here. Can I have my file, please? Can I have my file?
I've been working on this.
Can I have my file? Could I? It's my file. Could I please?
I don't just take it easy.
Could I have my file, please?
You will find the acknowledgement. When do you have your file?
I believe you made a copy of it and gave it to me. And by the way, can you take out that fax too? Because that's what I wanted to ask Mr. Lombardino. You sent a fax to, can you take out that fax, please?
Fax to who?
Right here. This fax. Next one. Next one. Down. Next one. This right. This fax. This is the police report. You sent a fax to, it's hard for me to read upside down.
This came to me.
Wait. Yeah, this is a fax from Mr. DiChiara to you. This is in January of 2011. And what this fax is saying is this is the police report from 2005. So when Detective Cologne got on the witness stand and said,
I'm not going to go through that Detective Cologne nonsense again.
how is that nonsense?
Because it's not in the appeal.
It is. It's part of the trial. It is. It's part of the trial.
How you came up to talk to me?
No, I told you about other stuff too, but excuse me, sir. It's not in the...
Please, I'm waiting to do something.
It's not in the appeal?
No, it's not.
Detective Cologne testified on the
Take that
witness.
up with detail. Please leave me alone. I just came back from therapy and I do not feel well, and I did not expect you here. You had no appointment to come in. You just cannot come in like that.
It's part of Detective Cologne's testimony where he says...
Well, there's nothing in the record to show you lies.
Yes, there is. I gave the police report to everybody in February of 2010.
He's filing your appeal. I told him to file it. I read 11 pages of it the other night.
So when Detective Cologne lies on the witness stand and says, I didn't take her complaint seriously because her complaint came after Yeshiva University filed charges against her, that's not true. I filed my complaint.
Please, I just came back from therapy on this.
Well, you don't want to hear the truth.
I don't want to hear this at all.
You don't want to hear that a police detective lied on the witness stand?
The judge believes it.
The judge had a police report in his hands from 2005.
On 2008.
Wait, I haven't there's an acknowledgement letter in here about you made a copy of it for me. Excuse me, could I
Let's assume I did. What does that got to do with these get-togethers? And
Well, get-togethers, I call you up.
What, do you think that $10,000 around here forever?
No, sir, I'm not. Why are you attacking me?
Because you keep throwing up this $10,000 referral fee. I worked on your case above and beyond that.
Well, what exactly did you do? Because I have obstruction of justice here.
You have put away. You have obstruction of justice.
Sir, when you're saying on the
You're out of order. You've been haunting me ever since the first day.
I'm out of order.
Absolutely. Listen, I want to be left alone. Okay, go talk wherever you want. Please leave me alone, Mr. DiChiero. It's got your appeal finished and inspiring you, and it's a good one too.
Mr. Lombardino, I have serious crimes in my case. And
Well, taking care of it. Now, please stop.
How are you taking care of it?
Listen, just leave me alone, huh?
How are you taking care of it?
In the appeal. You'll see when you get the appeal.
It's in the appeal?
Yes.
My case should be referred to law enforcement.
Well, go ahead and do it. Go to the FBI. Go wherever you want to go. Nobody wants to bother with you. Everybody who you've haunted has nothing to do with you, okay? Because of your conduct. And I can understand why. You're doing it to me.
I came into your office, and I was told you were here to ask about the fee that you were
supposed to make an appointment.
I tried to make an appointment.
You walk in here like that. You can't do
I tried to make an appointment.
Yeah, well, you can make it with me.
Well, Mr. Lombardino, why would you lie to me and tell me?
I'm not lying to you, and stop saying that. I resent that. There's something wrong with you. Don't keep telling me I'm lying, because I'm not lying to you.
You told me that you have never accepted any money, and in fact, you took $10,000.
I got a referral fee for the work I did.
A referral?
That's good.
Can I see the work that you did?
Please leave. Please leave.
Well, if I paid you $10,000,
you paid me nothing. You paid me nothing. But the DCO did what he had to do. He forwarded me a referral fee, which is done in every case with every lawyer, whether you like it or not.
And he paid you $10,000?
Something like that. I don't remember.
So can I see the work that you did for $10,000?
When you get the brief. I read the other night 11 pages of it.
Well, can I...
How about all the damn calls you made to me? I got calls up there packed like that from you. Call after call after call. Cologne, the FBI, the this, the that.
And this was from Rikers, yes?
And how about all those calls?
Well, if I'm calling you from Rikers Island, aren't the phone calls from Rikers Island taped and monitored?
They sure are.
So that would mean there was evidence there that would help.
Help you, that's right. Go get them.
So where would I...
I have no idea. Go get them and do whatever you want to do. Okay?
So why wouldn't my attorneys, who I pay thousands of dollars, make a simple effort to preserve evidence that...
We got everything because the appeal is based on that record. You don't want to get that through your head. You think you run the court. Well, you don't. The record speaks for itself. That's the appeal. Not outside the record. And you don't want to understand that. You just simply don't want to understand it. But there's something wrong with you. If there wasn't, you'd say, you're right, the record speaks for the appeal. We got the record, we made the appeal is a good one, and we're submitting it. Now, I don't know what more you want. What more do you want? You want to drive me crazy, you're not going to do it.
I don't know where you're getting these accusations from, Mr. Lombardino.
From you.
Why would you attack me? I'm the victim of the crime.
You're making me a victim. Now, please, leave me alone.
How am I making you a victim?
Because you're here and I don't want to talk to you. Now leave.
You're an attorney who was paid thousands of dollars.
Oh, stop throwing that nonsense up to me. You didn't pay me nothing. Mr. DiChiero gave me a referral fee. He wanted $40,000. When he gave me a referral fee, that had nothing to do with you, and I worked on that brief with him. I went over 25 points.
So then you would have notes about this.
There's no notes on that. It's reading the record and talking to him about it.
You know, Mr. Lombardino.
Look, you know what?
When I'm coming out of prison in late March 2011 and in early 2011, when you're telling people Detective Clone didn't lie on the witness stand when in fact he did.
Well, you go to when we argue the appeal, you go there and tell the appellate court he lied. That's all.
Mr. Lombardino.
So stop with this, Mister. Please leave me alone, huh? Either you leave or I'll leave. What do you want to do?
I'm trying to have a civilized...
There's no talking to you. You're not civilized.
I'm not a
No,
civilized.
not at all.
How am I not a civilized person?
Because you came up here without an appointment, and you're giving me a lot of static about a fee that a referral fee that a lawyer sent to me, okay? And I'm not going to stand for it. Now, you do whatever you want to do. Ron, bring in all those notes of all those telephone calls. How many calls you made to me? Constantly, one after another. It got to the point I couldn't take it anymore. And here you're doing it to me again.
So you're a former federal prosecutor.
That's right.
And I'm telling you about Judge Patterson.
And I'm telling you, Judge Patterson was the finest judges I know.
Then why did he lie in my case?
He lied. Everybody lied for you. You're the only one that don't lie.
Well, let's see.
Judge Patterson did not lie.
He claimed that I could not point.
You come here to talk about Patterson to me? Well, I don't want to talk about Judge Patterson.
Well, since the root of my problem is Judge Patterson.
Well, if you do something with Judge Patterson, go to the circuit.
Well, Mr. Lombardino.
See this? These are all, no, these are places I'm keeping these. These are all paid with all your stupid telephone calls. Ron.
Samuel, could I have a copy of these?
No, absolutely not. This is my product.
Then
why not get it?
Then why would I believe this?
So don't believe it. I don't care if you're doing that. Just leave me alone. Please.
Mr. Lombardino, when Judge Patterson...
Judge Patterson's a fine man. Go to the circuit. Complain to him down there. Go to the FBI. Tell him that he lied. What do you want me to do? I cannot do it.
I could not point to a school policy that would give me a
point to anything you want. And I'm not going to do anything about Judge Patterson. That's got nothing to do with your field. Nothing.
I was contacting the school as I was instructed.
No, you should have to really lie.
I can't even have a civilized discussion.
No, I can't. I cannot have a civilized discussion with you. I want you to leave and leave me alone.
You don't deal with the facts. You don't really. I mean, you're yelling at me.
That's right, because you're absolutely incorrigible.
I can't even have a civilized discussion.
You're not civilized. I am sure.
You're an attorney who collected money from me, and you know that federal judges are lying?
Judges, everybody's lying. All the judges lie.
Well, I'll ask you one litigation point. I, as a former student, can point to no school policy that would allow me
anything you want.
That would allow me to correct my ACOM records. That's ridiculous.
Point to anything you want that's got nothing to do with the appeal.
That's why I was contacting the school. I have a legitimate purpose in contacting the school.
Lydia, call me later and I'll talk to you over the telephone. I don't want to talk in, okay?
Okay.
I have things to do.
I believe you have a 4:30 appointment.
That's correct.
Mr. Lombardino, are you too afraid to challenge?
What?
Are you too afraid?
I'm afraid of nothing and nobody.
Okay.
Nobody. I didn't serve this country being afraid of anything.
Well, then why are you afraid of 4 federal judges who fabricated rulings?
They fabricated nothing. They're fine gentlemen.
They claim that I, as a former student...
The only judge that I have fought with was the judge who tried your case. But Judge Patterson's a good man, and I'll talk to you over the phone.
He fabricated a ruling that said I, as a former...
Go complain. Go to the president. Go to your senator. Don't come to me. I can't do nothing.
Do you think I should go to the U.S. Marshals and the Department of Justice? Because I believe...
Well, you can go there, but I can't do it. They have more to say than I do.
So I went to Mr. U.S. Marshal Wiertowski, and I gave him, in fact, this particular litigation point where Judge Patterson says that I could point to no school policy that would allow me, as a former student, to correct my ACOM records.
So what did he do about it?
Well, that's very interesting. I think what he does is he runs around and tells people lies behind my back. He's certainly not enforcing the law. Shouldn't Judge Patterson correct that? We all know that that's
Well, why do you call Judge Patterson?
You want me to call Judge Patterson?
Yeah, go ahead. Call if you want.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Based on what you said, I asked Judge Patterson for a meeting where I said I think opposing counsel should be in the room. I think the marshals should be in the room. I think my attorney should be in the room. I think the American Medical Students Association should send a representative to be in the room. And we should ask Judge Patterson, this ruling where you say I, as a former student, can point to no school policy that would allow me to
take it up that way.
I did.
Well, then I can't do any more.
Well, no. See, what's good about this is when I called Judge Patterson back and I say I talked to Mr. Anthony Lombardino, a former federal prosecutor, claims he's not afraid of anything, and he says I should call you and reiterate again that we should sit down.
How dare you tell a judge that I'm telling you to do? You do it on your own.
Well, I'll do it on my own, but you're suggesting this is
you're asking me if you can do it, and I'm saying you can do anything you want.
But this is an appropriate course of action, and Judge Patterson should
take it up with him.
Okay.
And call me later. I can't talk now. I have to take my medication. I got to relax.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Very well.
Thank you. Thank you.
And it's back to us.
I'm telling you.
Okay, now I'm discussing with this guy that I have a legitimate purpose in contacting my school.
Absolutely.
And I'm reviewing with a former federal prosecutor. This guy's like 80 years old, right? He's been practicing law for like ever.
Lifetime.
And I'm like, but Judge Patterson is lying, Mr. Lombardino. You know, and I reviewed with him. Did you hear me on the tape review with him? And I go through the same litigation point that I went through with U.S. Marshal Witowski.
Sure.
Judge Patterson claimed that I could not point to a school policy that would allow me as a former student to correct my income records.
Right.
That's bogus.
That's right.
It's wholesale fraud.
Okay.
I mean, it's not just a fraud upon the court, it's a fraud upon me.
Absolutely.
So I've got a former federal prosecutor who's lying and saying Judge Patterson and the three appeals judges are fine gentlemen. No, they're not.
They're not. They're not.
They're not.
Very
and this is not a civil case.
Absolutely.
This is, they falsified financial records to steal money from me. They're thieves.
Yes, they are.
They need to be removed from the bench.
Sure.
So if you're out there and you have a case with Judge Patterson, please call me, Lydia Radin, and I'll discredit him.
Sure.
And the marshals also asked me the names of the three other federal judges on the Second Circuit Court of Appeals.
And you said?
And I gave it to them. I also gave the U.S. Marshals, I made 3 copies. I got certified. I took a witness down to the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. And what you should be aware of is at the Second Circuit at 500 Pearl Street, the marshals are on the 3rd floor, and the Second Circuit Court of Appeals is on the 4th floor.
Okay.
So this is like a walk upstairs for them. But to even save them the walk upstairs, I went to the Second Circuit Court of Appeals and I got the certified CDs of all the documents that were submitted in my case.
Yes.
And I made copies for Mr. James Howard and Marshall Doyle and Mr. Witowski, and I hand-delivered them. And then I actually went through the stupidity of the exercise on YouTube, where I went through one of the lies that Yeshiva University's attorneys told in my criminal case was that they had produced my records in federal court in 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007. Now we're at criminal trial.
Right.
We're getting a lot of phone calls, and we're not answering the phone because we have to get through this.
That's
because literally my life is at stake.
Absolutely.
And in 2000, the Yeshiva University claimed that in 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, that they had produced my educational records in federal court.
Yes.
John Scarfone lied at criminal trial in 2010. And I got those records on certified CDs, and I gave them to the 3 marshals at 500 Pearl Street. And then on YouTube, I went through the ridiculousness of going through all the documents and saying, well, let's go through this document. No, there are no records here. 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 And they know that that's true. The attorneys in the audience know that that's true because the school did a motion to dismiss under Rule 12 of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. And my records were never provided in federal court. So I have a legitimate purpose in contacting the school to get my records.
Absolutely.
Now, let me ask you something. your attorney, Vince Ansetti, does he put you through this?
No, wait a minute. That's true. Vince Ansetti never put us through this. You were there at many of our meetings. He brought out whatever we wanted to see. If I said, I don't have that, he made copies. Here's copies, Bill. What else do you have? You know, I said, I showed my, well, I have this, and I make copy, you know.
Mr. Ansetti.
Ansetti was right up the, on board. I mean, he never said, you can't see this. Oh, dear, he says, we have to put this on the QT and everything else, and this judge is a fine man. He would say, hey, this is a tough judge we're up against. He would never make those comments that we saw on the video that Lydia just showed you. And again, he brought all the files out. What do you want to copy this? What do you want to look through them? Well, there was too much, so I didn't have the energy to do so. But what Lydia went through, Vince Ansetti never put anybody through. And Lydia was there with me when we went through all this. This is totally astounding, this video. I have never seen anything like it.
And next week we're going to look at a videotape that I made before this one when I went to Gerald DiChiara and I said, can you please tell me how much money did you pay Mr. Lombardino? And he said $10,000.
Yes.
You hear and see, and I'm going to put this up on
He's saying he didn't get it, and then he's saying he did get it. Yeah, so what do you believe?
Well, what he's trying to do is he's trying to
muddy the waters, I think.
Yeah, and so
fudge the issue.
Right, and so now that he actually did get paid, now he's trying to say, oh, it's a referral fee. Referral fees are $500, not 10 grand.
I see.
Oh, I got a referral fee for the work that I did. Well, Mr. Lombardino, if you did $10,000 worth of work, can I see the
what work did you do?
Can I see the $10,000 worth of work?
Did we have a trial? Did you go to trial with me? What did I pay you for?
And the part that I really like is that in 2011, in the days before I was being released from Rikers, I'm telling people, you know, I got to go out there and walk the streets of Manhattan with a police detective who lied on the witness stand. Okay, so how far do you think I'm going to get?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And Mr. Lombardino, now they're at Rikers, they're trying to fabricate a reason. If they can't hold me in a criminal jail,
right,
they're going to try to use a locked psychiatric ward as a de facto prison.
Yeah, that's from what I understand. That for some reason or other, psychiatrists, what do? They bypass the law? They're not under the law or something? Because cops need a warrant to do everything. Shrinks, they do anything they want. How do they do that? How do they get away with it?
They lie, and there are laws in New York that say they can't do this.
I'm sure there are.
And
yes.
there are. This is McKinney's Education Law, Section 6530,
right.
And they're very aware of this. In Rikers Island, when they treated me as, they pretended I was their patient, I was not their patient. They fabricated, wholesale made up medical records so they could steal your money, ladies and gentlemen. These are your tax dollars,
taxpayer dollars
in action. Okay,
yes,
and it's coming out now in federal court.
Yes, it is.
They knew exactly what they were doing. And next week I'll bring an example of a consent form. And on the consent form, the dishonest psychiatrists who are lying say patient refused to sign. Well, clearly you knew that you had to have a consent form before you could treat me. And when you say she refused to sign, what part of no?
No, didn't you understand? I see.
Thank you. So when you're performing professional services that have not been duly authorized by the patient, you violated the law.
Of course you did.
And when you billed Medicaid for that, you engaged in health care fraud.
What was fraud? Sure.
Which is a crime in New York.
Federal crime, right?
It's a crime. And under New York state law, health plan fraud is a crime.
Sure.
So, Dr. Gormis, Dr. Spritz, Raul Coligdin, Michelle Escanali, all these doctors I'm suing right now for defaming me. I am not their patient.
That's right.
I have never been their patient.
Exactly.
And on top of defaming me, you've committed fraud.
Sure.
You billed the Medicaid system for this.
Absolutely.
Now, we got about 10 minutes left,
Okay.
so it's enough of my nightmare. Let's talk about your success.
Oh, yeah. Let me explain something. Tenants, of course.
Well, no, tell them. We went to court. Tell them what happened.
I'm telling you exactly what happened. We've been on the defensive for so long. It's time to be on the offense. And we did that with a spectacular win in court on Monday. The judge,
Bill won his case.
the judge took item by item of the termination and blew it away completely. Now I'm going to have transcripts, and we're going to show this item by item, the arguments where she totally debunked this landlord. It was an incredible show, folks.
So, you know, I'm trying to help Bill with his case.
Yes.
Mr. Ansetti, who's your attorney,
Yes.
wants to win.
Yes.
We got a law. We're working with other tenants advocates.
Sure.
We get New Jersey State Senator Brian Stack to propose a new law.
Right.
And we went into court on Monday. I got like 2 hours sleep in like 3 days.
Slam dunk.
We go into court on Monday,
Yeah.
September 10th.
Yes.
And they pulled every dirty trick in the book.
They did.
But the just to succinctly sum this up in the time we have left, Bill won his case.
Yes.
And we knew that Bill had won his case when the landlord's attorney put their witness on the stand.
It was a cop, folks.
Detective Tom Jones.
Yes.
And the landlord is trying to evict Bill.
On disorderly conduct.
And Detective Tom Jones testified that there was no disorderly conduct.
Now, let me, Detective Tom Jones is not going to lose his job by committing perjury for this landlord. I mean, he'll go so far, but he is not going to put himself out for this landlord.
So we knew that that was the pivotal moment in Bill's case.
Turning point.
Where we knew he was going to win. When the landlord's own attorney gets up there and says, you're being evicted for alleged
disorderly conduct.
And and Detective Jones says there was no disorderly conduct.
Well, just a fast one, because Vince Ansetti asked Tom Jones on the witness stand. He says, was there any physical altercation? Was there an arrest? Was there this? And Tom Jones said exactly right down the line, categorically, no.
They put poor Bill, I'm going to tell him your age with your permission.
Yeah, right.
Bill is 73 years old. They put this man through hell. No, you don't look it. They put this man through hell for months. And then they finally get up there and admit, I mean, they called him dirty names.
Yeah.
They defamed him. They claimed that he was dangerous, that there were acts of violence.
Now, I had to cut in for one. Now, Judge Royster didn't buy any. You see, she didn't get into the details. He called you a dirty name. Oh, what did he say? This, that. She said it's irrelevant. Has nothing to do with the case. So they didn't even get to the second step because she blew it away at the first step.
They couldn't.
Totally irrelevant stuff.
They
nonsense.
couldn't. They couldn't. They made up stories.
Absolutely.
They lied.
Yeah.
They misconstrued.
Yeah.
They got their court papers all wrong. They didn't even have a foundation to evict you. So they started adding stuff at the end.
Again, the bottom line is none of this stuff had anything to do with my case. I mean, that's what was incredible. They never get to step two because Judge Royster threw it out of step one. I mean, how dumb can these people be, this landlord?
They're not dumb, they're vicious. And what they put you through was called malicious prosecution.
It's malicious prosecution,
well, technically not, because they didn't prosecute, they prosecuted. But it's abusive process.
Abusive, if you will.
And what these people do is they use the courts as a means of aggression.
Of course,
So instead of taking a club and beating you
over the head,
what they do is they just put you through all the emotional trauma,
the third degree,
and the cost and the harassment.
Absolutely.
And they use the court system itself as a weapon.
As a weapon, yes.
Which
is a routine. You see, if you have say multi-billionaire, too big to fail banks, multi-billionaire corporations, landlords, they can do all this stuff for some reason. But this case, this time they didn't get away with it on Monday, and the whole thing was thrown out.
But what Judge Royster did warn Bill was that they're going to come after you.
No, she said tread lightly, Mr. Doherty.
No, because they're going to come after you again.
Of
So here's
course.
what Bill's going to do,
Yeah.
because he's pretty much had it.
Yeah.
You're
There's going to be costs involved from now on in. The reason they can do this in the past because there's no, oh, well, you know.
We're still working with your attorney, Mr.
We
Anthony.
we are.
And I would respectfully suggest
Yes.
that Bill make complaints to
Licensing
to the licensing board
of Carfunkel.
of Benjamin Carfunkel.
Yeah, landlord's attorney, folks.
Yes. When Benjamin Carfunkel knew there was no good faith effort here, he knew that this was his witness, this police detective, who got up there. Benjamin Carfunkel, the dishonest attorney for the landlord, is saying, I want Bill evicted for disorderly conduct, and his own witness gets up there and says there was no
disorderly conduct.
Okay, that means that you're going to make a complaint to Benjamin Carfunkel's licensing board. And we're going to put everything up on the internet. So when they try this again, a year from now, 2 years from now,
there will be a history.
3 years from now, 4 years from now, 5 years from now, when we're not around anymore, we're going to leave a legacy of this is how this attorney and this landlord
How they operate.
So this is a pattern and a practice.
Of abusive behavior, yes.
Thank you. So they're not going to pull this on other innocent people because Bill's fighting the good fight, and so is Mr. Anthony.
Again, this court victory on Monday was huge because for the first time we were on the offense, folks. We are not constantly on the defense.
And you're going to go after your attorney's fees, but we've been asked not to talk about that.
Sure.
And when you put a 73-year-old man through this kind of...
put him through the ringer.
That's called the intentional infliction of emotional distress.
Of course, they know what they're doing.
So you have 3 years to sue the hell out of these people.
There's no deadline. That's interesting,
For the intentional infliction of emotional distress. And I got to tell you something. I've known you for a couple years.
Yeah.
And there was a moment there in the morning when they were really putting us through the ringer.
Oh, yeah.
Where I thought you were going to lose it.
You're not the only one that figured we were going to lose, but...
We won. And there was a moment there about 2 hours later where I thought I was going to lose it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've been through Rikers Island.
Sure.
And there was a moment there where, the reason why we won is because all of us, your wife, Dawn.
We hung together.
Right. We controlled our panic, and no matter what they threw at us.
And we calmly, we calmly destroyed the opposition's case.
And it was good that you had made us prepare.
Yes.
And so Vincent said he went in there prepared. It was good that he wasn't over-prepared.
Oh.
And there was a point where he was hammering the judge with it, and she's like, all right, I get it. And all they wanted to do was make Bill's case go away. Because she got it. It was bogus. It was
Let me tell you something about Vince Ansetti. The man, well, he's over 6 foot. He's a Texan. The man, he's
from Texas.
Yes, he's a Texan, and he's a handsome man. You've probably seen him on the video. But when he gets up there in front of judge, especially Judge Royster, female judge, he's charming. Now, the other attorney, Carfunkel, is very stern.
This wasn't about personalities. This was about on the facts.
This is right. This
and
is
on
a department.
The law.
How you on a law, but there's also a charismatic feature of and say that he can present the case in an appropriate light, where the judge said, "Hey, this makes sense."
And now we're out.